Welcome to our garden in Edinburgh, where I'm in conversation with my son Cameron, where we're asking how do we access wisdom in the midst of the pandemic, and also asking how shall we choose to live beyond the pandemic? That is, what are the things that we will be wanting to change, both individually and collectively? And we're speaking specifically about the context of the pandemic, but also in the context of the many struggles and sufferings that are happening now in our world between races, between nations, between peoples. Every week we've been drawing on a great teacher before us and asking if they were with us now, what might they say to us? Today I'm going to be drawing from the wisdom of a young Jewish woman in the Netherlands, Etty Hillesum, who lived and died during the Nazi occupation of her homeland. Etty, as a very young woman in her 20s, witnessed the rounding up of her people into ghettos before being sent to transit camps before the long journey to Auschwitz. During these years, Etty kept a diary, writing a diary at exactly the same time as Anne Frank was keeping her diary. Etty saw her own diary as a type of dialogue with God. In fact, that was very much how she saw her life, as a dialogue with God. And by God, she meant that unnameable presence at the very heart of our being, that sacredness deep within us all. The dialogue for Etty in part was how to release that deepest dimension within us and one another. There are two things that particularly strike me in Etty's diary. One is that in the midst of the horror of what was happening to her people and the way her own life was therefore under threat, it was her practice when she was still living in Amsterdam during those final days to spend time gazing out of her window at a beautiful blossoming jasmine. And then when she was in the transit camp in Westerbork, it was her practice often to go to the fence of the camp and gaze across the fields at the yellow blossoming. What we see in Etty is something very similar to what we heard in episode 2 about needing to hold together these two wings of awareness of life's ongoing beauty and blossoming, and awareness also of the unimaginable suffering that is happening. We see that in Etty. The other thing that strikes me in Etty's diary is that she speaks of believing that a new day will come. And she hopes that she will be part of that new day, and says that what she can offer to that new day is to be the voice or the soul or the memory of a people who have suffered, because their soul belongs in the new day. What is the new day that we are longing for? A new relationship with the sacredness of the earth, a new relationship between us as peoples and as nations and individuals, a just and reverent relationship. Etty said at the end, the only way of truly preparing for the new day is to live it now in our hearts. Etty's voice lives among us, and I believe she is inviting us to live the new day that we are hoping for now within us, and to see that living the new day in our hearts as preparing for the foundations of real change.